I got your hat. Do I have your attention? You either don't care or you don't want to miss it. Personally, I can't wait to see what happens on Sunday night in Miami. An exhibition bout between undefeated and retired 5-division champ Floyd Mayweather Jr. against social media influencer Logan Paul. The co-hosts of Morning Combat, Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell, talking to both fighters at the Versace mansion in Versace robes.
That's the beautiful thing about this sport. Experience, it's fantastic. In almost any industry, experience is going to trump everything else. But at the end of the day, this is a fight, and anything can happen.
This is what I do because I don't worry about size, height, arm length, weight. Floyd Mayweather, I'm the best. This is what I do. I don't worry about no fighters. I don't worry about no hat because when there's fight time, I can fight. Remember, Floyd Mayweather, I retired from boxing, but I didn't retire for entertainment, and I didn't retire for making money.
Floyd Mayweather's net worth, $450 million. Let that sink in, $450 million. All right, so the fight will consist of 8 3-minute rounds, if it gets there. No judges, but knockouts are legal. Logan Paul, 18 years younger, has a 6-inch height and 4-inch reach advantage. Also expect to be around 30 pounds heavier than Mayweather. Mayweather will have a limit of 160 pounds. Paul will have a weight limit of 190 pounds. The fight will take place Sunday night on Showtime Boxing Pay-Per-View. Welcome to the aforementioned CBS Sports combat analyst and co-host of Morning Combat, Brian Campbell, who's no longer wearing a Versace robe. Before we talk about the fight, what was that like wearing that robe? Did you feel like Hugh Hefner or a clown?
Well, as I said on the broadcast, I always wanted to see how the other half lived and feel it. Turns out the other half is pretty sweaty, Hakeem, but it was a great moment in time. Still debating whether it was the high moment of my career or the turning point south. But either way, look, unique event. You got to break out the unique shirts for it. There's an old American adage that the beatnik poets used to say, when in South Beach, do as the Romans would do. So that's why I'm dressed so ridiculously. But I think for the boxing traditional hardcores, you got to suspend your traditional ways of looking at this. This ain't real boxing. It's what do you want to call it? Carnival? It's a spectacle. It's all of the above. But you got to take the boxing glasses off, put the South Beach ones on, and just sit back and party. That's what we're getting Sunday night.
Did you get to keep the robe?
I did.
Okay,
I did.
good.
Now, look, there's going to be a battle down the road when Viacom CBS, when the expense report manager, right? Like, you know, we got a showdown coming, okay? You know, some people want Floyd Connor too. How about BC and the staff of Viacom CBS? That's for another day.
When you're in studio next time, I want to see the robe.
I'll let you touch it.
I want you to walk onto the set with the robe on. All right. Mayweather's last...
There is a curse, by the way. There's a curse to the robe. I hope you know about that in combat sports, okay?
Yeah, I still want to see the robe, though. Mayweather's last fight 2.5 years ago on New Year's Eve 2018, an exhibition bout against undefeated kickboxer Tenshin Nasukawa. He won via first-round TKO. Logan Paul's boxing career consists of 2 boxing matches, both against British YouTuber KSI. He last fought him November 2019, losing by split decision. Brian, what did you learn after talking with both Floyd and Logan?
That I think you saw from the footage of that stare down, which happened at Thursday's media availability at the Versace mansion, like we mentioned, that's the moment where it did get real. Look, there's been a lot of pro wrestling theatrics, the gotcha hat, Jake Paul's, ability to parachute into this narrative that's abnormal for typical boxing. But even that will go out the window come Sunday night when these two finally get in the ring at Hard Rock Stadium. The stare down that we saw on Thursday was the beginning of that realism getting in the minds of media, fans, and I think the two competitors. But here's the deal about Logan Paul at the end of the day. I'm not going to sit here and try to talk you into his chances of victory. They are, as much a puncher's chance, as they say, as you could possibly say. But he has not shrunken from the moment. If there's one thing Logan Paul is great at, it's feeling comfortable in front of a camera, ready to entertain, even if that leads to embarrassing himself. He's a self-proclaimed troll. Him getting this fight is almost a victory of monumental troll proportions. But he's got this fight, and it's going to be real on Sunday night. And whether or not he's equipped with anything to prevent a straight-up knockout from happening, I see a confident man who's not afraid of the consequences and is trying to have, another moment, another meme. He may be on the business end of the meme, but he's going to give it all to create that. I think Floyd, as much as he's downplayed the maybe potential competitiveness of this matchup, he does know in the back of his head that here's a hungry young guy, a hungry young lion, as Floyd likes to say, who's at the very least younger and bigger. You can only mess around to a certain degree. That's going to be a real fight come Sunday night.
You mentioned Logan Paul is comfortable in front of a camera. You're also comfortable in front of a camera, but I don't see you stepping in a ring with Floyd Mayweather Jr. Logan Paul is a former high school wrestling standout. He's been training in boxing for more than 2 years. Mayweather's 44 years old, but this is still a monster mismatch. He's undefeated with a perfect 15-0 record, including 27 knockouts in his Hall of Fame career. Mayweather also had this to say, quote, "I ain't got to use my A game, my B game, my C game. I can use my Z game. Don't even got to hit him hard, and the result's going to be the same," end quote. How do you see this playing out?
Floyd is certainly right up to a certain degree, right? I mean, he's a monster favorite for a reason. Logan Paul's not going to be able to learn experience, subtleties, technique, all of these things in just 2 to 3 years' time. Although, let's give the Paul brothers credit. They're taking it very seriously. They're doing the right things. But yes, if you talk to Logan Paul's team, I don't know if it's a front or if it's misguided. They're talking about outboxing Floyd Mayweather. You're not going to outbox Floyd Mayweather, right? Conor McGregor tried that to a fault 4 years ago. Canelo Alvarez and the other traditional boxers that fought Mayweather had that plan. I don't care how old Mayweather is. You're not going to outbox him. But if Logan Paul can give his best effort to cause chaos, that's going to be, let's say, not only his best, his only chance to win. If Mayweather can swim within that chaos, in which he's done so many times against so many different kinds of opponents, and is able to line up that perfect counter shot, specifically with that right hand counter, this night could be over with one punch. So the odds are obviously against Logan Paul doing anything but getting splattered. I at least want to see, and I do believe we will, given the words he said and what this means to him, he will come out best foot forward, go for broke, try to make it entertaining. That could speed up his demise, Hakeem. We know how these things go, but I think that's his only chance at upsetting the apple cart here and doing something that they call Team Paul the biggest upset in sports history. I don't even know how you would compare it to other great upsets because it's so bizarre of things we haven't seen before.
Well, like I said, you either don't care or you don't want to miss it. Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Logan Paul fighting for bragging rights Sunday on Showtime Boxing pay-per-view. Brian Campbell joining us here, sans robe, but thank you for having clothes on. All right, so for all things combat, check out Morning Combat with Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell. You can watch the series on YouTube. You can also listen to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. A whole lot of awesome goodness. I don't even know if that's English, but it's awesome. So check it out. Morning Combat, download and subscribe today.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.